see the broad expanses of Colorado, and you're just like, well, I'm just this little small person, right?
Right now we're at the 40-year anniversary mark of the CDT, and what can we do over the next 40 years?
It's just another area I haven't seen yet. You know, it's just really neat to see.
Communication and well, community for that matter. It really matters, and I think out here it becomes apparent.
You know, and especially in a world where we feel so disconnected, this is a place where we get to connect really quickly and for a long time with people and the places and the landscapes.
This will be day 23. Yeah, 23. Lose count. I was gonna have a year of time. My plan was the Appalachian Trail, but then plans changed. I had about a month and a half. So my immediate Google search was trails in Colorado, and so here I am. It's incredible. One of the best spots for sure that I've been on this trip. It's my favorite part of the morning, besides the views. They definitely don't withstand the backpacking, but the taste is still there.
The reason I came out here for this is because I wanted the challenge of being up at high altitude for a long time. I get on the trail at 5:30 every morning, just before light. So it's just light enough to walk without a light. And depending on whether there's storms going on or not, I hike until, well, if there's no storms going on, I'll hike until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I'm all into self-discipline, so if I want to do a lot of miles, which I like to do to just challenge myself.
I work for Intel out of Oregon, and every 7 years you get a paid 8-week sabbatical. And this is my first sabbatical. And I thought, while I'm young and more fit and more capable, I wanted to try to do something physically challenging.
So I decided to join my son Steve. It's been a tough couple of days actually, because it's there's some pretty hard climbs and stuff like that. But beautiful wilderness, you know. Really like being out in the outdoors. Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's times you don't want to miss.
You know, that's what I want my career to be. One that isn't just self-fulfilling. I've talked to current nurses now and ones that are in nursing school, and it's crazy how many times they use the word just rewarding, like it's rewarding. And so many times, even on this trip, it's almost like it's been reconfirmed that nursing is almost like my calling, so to speak. I know medical field is. It's always been my draw.
I am 49. I will be 50 on the 21st of August. There is routine, yeah, and I'm glad you said routine and not monotony, because it's not monotonous. Every day is different. Every view is different. When I get up in the morning, or even when I set up my tent, it's like, okay, which way is the sun going to come up? Am I going to get an eastern sun in the morning, or am I in the trees and I'm not going to get anything? You know, I've always had an appreciation for the outdoors, and I think this one will probably be a little bit more internal. Because, you know, people will always ask, well, how do you feel now? What are you going to do? I don't have that answer yet. I don't know. Will I be a different person when I walk around and be, you know, Mr. Spiritual all day? I doubt it. But at the same time, you know, I certainly have a greater appreciation for my own ability and what I push myself to do and when I don't push myself.
When you get to connect to people in this landscape, it's more meaningful in some ways, and the trail becomes alive because of the hearts and souls of the people who help build it, the people who help protect it, as much as the people who are actually on it.
I started this last year and finished it, half of it, and then had to bail because of my old man feet. I bailed at Monarch, and I'd hoped to do it as a through hike last year, but yeah, my feet couldn't take it.
I have some triple antibiotic cream if you want some for your heel or whatever.
Can you spare it, Austin?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be really nice.
In August, I start nursing school, and he was just sharing, kind of reflecting on his sister as a nurse.
Picked me up last summer, and then she dropped me off at my house and she just died.
I'm sorry. You could tell obviously that it's touched him, and she's passed now.
It was a year ago Monday, but anyway, she really enjoyed being a nurse.
Yeah. You know, that's what I want my career to be. One that isn't just self-fulfilling.
Yeah, when they grow up, you know, you want them to,
Intel is a very fast-paced, rigorous environment, inventing new things and expanding capabilities for the world.
You want them to go out and be on their own and be successful. And then when they do, you miss them.
So yeah, it's been spectacular. Every day has been fun.
The big part for me is getting reinvigorated from all the ills of the world.
I'm sure she's touched many people, you know, through her career.
The trail comes alive because of the stories of the people on it. I mean, I think the landscape just naturally tends us to become a larger community, and that's the really cool part about the Divide.
But at the same time, yeah, it's a personal journey that's not finished.
It's this great connector, and it's a connector of communities, it's a connector of our history, of different culture, of the different landscapes along the Divide.
If people can understand how beneficial just being outdoors is, having the outdoors in your backyard and having access to that at all times, I think that's really important.
We want to be good stewards of the land. We want to educate people. We want to get people as excited as we are about being in the woods and being out in the backcountry in the wilderness.
So the Continental Divide Trail runs from Mexico to Canada, 3,100 miles, and it provides access to an incredible array of diverse landscapes along the Rocky Mountains, along the Divide. Part of the idea of establishing the National Trail System was to provide access to beautiful lands, to get people out in nature and connected to the natural environment.
Holy cow, the inside of this is soaked. Plan today is to go about 10 miles. We're gonna try to get to a ridge just above Turquoise Lake. I'm really looking forward to, pushing myself. I have not done, 10 miles a day backpacking trips. And I think that for 4 days, that's gonna be really, pushing myself as a person.
They called all of us to a big group meeting. All company meetings, so that's all of Big Agnes, all of Honey Stinger, all of BAP.
The company decided to do a relay of hiking, backpacking, biking, horseback riding, ATVs, everything from the New Mexico to the Wyoming border.
Different people signed up for different legs. Some are brutal backpacking trips in the San Juan, some are one-day mountain bike trips.
And they broke it out into 24 sections.
About 125 total employees, but they're all game for this kind of stuff. It's what they do on their weekends.
Obviously the real focus of it was to try to bring awareness to the trail, try to clean up where we can.
We're oftentimes the company that doesn't want to wave the flag, too high or too wildly, but when it comes to some of these public lands issues and highlighting something like the Continental Divide Trail, literally running right in our backyard, why not?
But to be out in a place like Colorado, where public land is the backdrop of our lives, and that is what feeds our soul so much. The public lands belong to everybody. That's part of what we're trying to do, is help to get the word out that we have this absolute national treasure, and come and experience it. Come come and feel connected to the outdoors, to each other.
And I think that the whole relay kind of became important for raising awareness, and I think that it also shows that they do care about their public spaces.
Time can pass slowly, especially if you're wearing Larry Ma's shoes. He's patiently waiting,
Just over an hour.
hoping for a ride.
I mean, the longest wait I've had was actually at the Canadian border. It took 3.5 hours to get a ride.
Larry's through hiking the Continental Divide Trail. In 1980, he through hiked the Pacific Crest Trail.
And next year I'm going to hike the Appalachian Trail, AT. Well, a lot of people, even some of the people that pick me up, doesn't know what does CDT stand for. I said, you live right along the Continental Divide Trail, you know, so anyway.
On trail, he's known as Lost Larry. Off trail, he spent 33 years as an electrical engineer for Boeing.
So I retired early 4 years ago, and I've been traveling around the world as much as 9.5 months out of the year.
So he's here in Steamboat Springs, the newest gateway community to the CDT.
Yeah, without communities like this, it would be a heck of a lot tougher.
These are communities that support the trail and support people like Larry.
Yeah, I was a dirtbagger in 1980. I didn't spend a single penny on lodging. I'm up to like about $1,400 now on this trip.
He came to Steamboat Springs to rest.
It's been
Now he's headed back.
an hour and a half, and I don't have a ride here. Oh, wow.
Larry Ma has been lost before.
Oh, wow.
Luckily for Larry, he's in a town where he doesn't feel so lost.
You gonna give me a ride to the... Oh, wow. So, throw this in the back? Yeah, okay. Wow, fantastic, got a ride.
Hopefully people will see that pretty much everything we do in our daily lives is taking these places away. I hope they take away that in our own lives away from these wilderness places. So, you know, you can come here and be a wilderness user, or you can come here and realize that everything is wilderness and we have to treat it all with respect. I happen to live in a house that's 10 feet by 8 feet. I've been living in it for more than 20 years. So before they even said what tiny houses were, I can heat it with a little tiny electric heater. I have running water from a spring, so it's gravity fed from a spring. I use less than a kilowatt hour of electricity a day. And it's so small that most of the time I want to be outside, which is more important to me. So I do my part by doing that. Sarah, what was your favorite thing about today?
Pancakes, the food. Arriving the moment when I saw them and I saw that sign. And I like ran up to them like I had never run up to anybody ever. I was just so happy, like I wanted to cry, like I was like almost crying.
They see our sign down the road and it just says, "Are you hungry? Let's eat." And they come screaming up the road and said, "What do you want to eat? Pancakes or hot dogs?" And we just make it for whoever comes in.
We have 3 pancakes that somebody needs to take.
They were just open arms and
going once.
They treated us like we were at their home. Like it was really loving.
Last one more.
So many pancakes.
You're on the calorie deficit plan.
Okay, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, you
All right. Yeah.
I heard the trail angels, maybe they leave like the box of stuff, maybe some food or a little water or something, but I was just floored that they were set up like that. First thing out of their mouths when I got up there said, "Here, you want some water? Here's a hot dog." Like, okay, you know, so great. So yeah, that was a very pleasant surprise.
Last year, I was coming down Clear Creek to the reservoir And there was a little bitty white truck about this big, and it kept getting a little bit bigger, 2.5 miles, hot. I was dying of thirst. And we had met a trail angel up at Tennessee Pass named Dave from Wisconsin. And he just smiled at me when I got down there. He opened up his cooler and he said, pick anything out you want. And I got a grape soda and I almost cried because I was so thirsty. God, it's just caked on. Just to have that cold grape soda meant everything to me at that time.
Is there anyone behind you that's coming?
No, this is it? And so I just kind of want to give back. The little German guy said, where's your box? And I'm like, what do you mean, where's your box? He goes, you know, put money in. And I was like, no money. For me, this is a way that I can give back. Done. Oh, I've probably had about 120 hugs. Yee-hoo. High fives, fist bumps.
Thank you so much, Pooh.
You're welcome.
That is awesome.
I'm glad. You guys be safe.
We will.
Be safe.
Make sure you have enough food.
Have fun and be safe.
Enough calories to get us to Crete, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I just like this feeling of gratitude. Like, this is like a really, really sweet gift right now.
I think I had to go through my own turmoil and loss and all of that stuff to be here today. I don't think I could be the person I am today without having gone through that. And for me, my story would be about helping convene and connect people together around the Continental Divide Trail. It's not about me. That would be my story. I really seriously believe that. My mom and dad, I think they always thought I would be a teacher, or my dad, I think, really secretly hoped I'd be an engineer. But I went to Virginia Tech, and the first weekend I was in school, there was an advertisement for volunteering on the Appalachian Trail. And so I went out that weekend, and I had a Pulaski in one hand and then loppers in the other hand, and the AT is known for its white blazes, and I asked the trail supervisor, so what's this white blaze thing again? I never heard of the AT. And he says, well, if you go left, you end up in Georgia. If you go right, you end up in Maine. And my mind was just blown that something like that actually existed and that I could actually help maintain it. And so for me, that moment changed my life. I spent every weekend after that on the trail doing volunteer work, and then my summers I was building trail with the Conarock crew with the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and I was all into it. Most people who hike it never know what goes into building a trail, and that's the beauty of it. If they think it was just naturally there, then you've done a great job. I think I just got hooked in that moment. I remember having this conversation with my dad when I got the job with ATC, and I remember calling home and like, I got this job, I'm getting paid $16,000 a year, I have full health benefits, and I can buy a truck and feed the dog. And my dad, there's just like dead silence, and he was, I think they thought I was crazy. But being the parents they were, they let me do it. And they encouraged me if I was gonna do that to be the best I could be at it. And then had an opportunity to come out and work with the Continental Divide Trail in 2007. And when I think about what we've done with the Continental Divide Trail Coalition, and today, we're 96% complete with the CDT. And while we have a 3,100 mile long dream, we still have a couple hundred miles that aren't connected. And so that's 40 years today. We're celebrating the 40th anniversary this year, but we still have some work to do in the next 40 to finish this trail. This is, for me, a really special place because it helped me kind of start the healing process after losing two really important people really close together. My mom's name was Candelaria, but she went by Gloria, and my dad's name was Alex Martinez. Losing your folks the way we did, we lost them in 36 days apart from each other, holding both of their hands as they passed away. I know that there's no way, if that hadn't happened and I didn't discover how strong I was, I couldn't have couldn't be here today. There's just no way. This was the first place I came to, and it's where I connected to them after they passed away. And I still feel them here because I knew how important the CDT was to me. And you know, I fight for this because I fight for them and their memory and everything that they built in me, the independence, the passion to be a good person. It's here. And it was really just, you know, remembering what nature does for us and just heals us. And I think that's worth fighting for.